They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Need more energy throughout the day? Looking for a kick to your workout? RockinThatIDLife.com has you covered with delicious flavors you've grown to love in tropical fruit and mixed berry, but now fall in love with the new fruit punch and orange flavors. Try them all at RockinThatIDLife.com.
Realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage LLC makes the moving process easier. Work with a realtor who plays and studies the game and will work as hard as the boys on the ice to get you the best deal. Check out Mike on the web at strikewithmike.com and jumpstart your move today. That's strikewithmike.com. What a way to kick off episode number 400. Welcome to episode 24 of season 11. This is episode number 400, all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIDLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at Let'sGoBlues.com for the very best St. Louis Blues themed t-shirts at a very fair price. It is Wednesday, February, what is today? 22nd. 22nd. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or we're pretty sure. To interact with the show on social media, our handle is on all the socials. It is at LGB Radio. I'm Kurt Price. My co-host for the big show tonight is Jeff Ponder and Bill Day. And the agenda for today includes discussion of boots. We got trade rumors. We've got a little recap of the game against the Carolina Hurricanes, which was a bit of a comedy of errors with the Blues. But mostly some trade rumor talk today, some fun stuff this time of year. So, guys, welcome to episode number 400. How we feeling?
Well, with your open, I feel like the start of that, probably about the third goal of the Carolina game, I sat there and go, then the shit really hit the fan.
And now it's really going to hit the fan.
It's been a week. Again, 2 shows last week, and we're at 400 a lot sooner than we thought we would be. But happy 400, fellas.
Yeah, it would have gotten off to a little bit quicker of a start. We had for YouTube was not cooperating with us. It would not connect. No. So we had to recreate the show really quick and do another one. So
thanks to the help. Well, I was going to applaud Austin, but really at the end of the day, it was Kurt who pivoted quickly. But thank you, Austin, producer Austin in the background there, for helping us and helping us realize there was an error going on.
I was like, what did Austin do now?
Yeah, right.
This has never happened before.
Austin.
This has never happened before.
Yeah, I thought you guys were just gonna, announce that, God rest in peace, Austin Lynch, because that looked pretty ugly there for a second.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on? Apparently on Facebook and Twitter we were live, but not on YouTube. So, what are you gonna do?
Bill, you've got a little extra awesomeness, in your camera there. You can see your what's that called, the boom arm or whatever you call it. And you know what? It gives me an insane idea. I'm not saying take it out. I think it looks cool because it's giving me an idea. We're a hockey show. We need to, yes, but it just looks different the way Kurt's all offended that I'm not commenting on his boom arm.
Yeah. Comment on my boom arm, Jeff.
My boom
arm, a hockey stick. Yes,
Yeah.
we're a hockey show. Yeah. Why aren't our boom arms hockey sticks?
That's a
great idea.
It's a great idea.
Just tape a hockey stick to it or wire it to it.
I have plenty of broken goalie sticks in my garage.
Yeah, I've got one somewhere behind me. I might actually do that. I have it come down instead like Bill's and have it look like a hockey stick. It's a good idea.
Official beers of episode number 400, the big 400. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is at CPrice12. Jeff's is J Ponder 94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. I guess I'm going first still. This is not working.
No.
Me going first. The team has looked pretty bad. But I guess whatever. I do not have a beer tonight. I've got something that is probably better. Like a Lion's Choice Coca-Cola right here in the Lion's Choice
Wait.
mug.
Coca-Cola? Seriously?
Not a Coke fan.
What do you think I was going to get?
When you go to Lion's Choice and you get a roast beef, especially a roast beef and Swiss, which I know you got.
No, I got.
No.
I know. I did not get the Swiss.
That's a good one.
I don't know you anymore.
I almost got the turkey. I love the turkey.
Who are you?
Turkey with the honey mustards and the seasoning was good. What soda should I have gotten, Bill?
The root beer.
The root beer?
The root beer.
I like root beer.
Beer's
enough.
good.
The only thing I can get when I have a Lion's Choice sandwich, like that, they're inseparable flavors to me. If I get a Dr. Pepper and take a drink, I'm like, oh, this is just wrong.
Okay. So because the root beer is inseparable for you, that means I should have got it.
Yes.
It's universal.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is it they don't make their own?
Bill makes the rules on St. Louis food. Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
Did not know that.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what, Bill? Next time I go in and eat inside, I will get a root beer.
And good for you,
because
Kurt.
you can throw it out.
So I can drink it and then get a refill of what I really want.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. The good news for Kurt, we talked about this before the show. He has the good ice. Lion's Choice has the best ice.
Lion's Choice has that good ice. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for those who have had Lion's Choice ice, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't had it, it's that little not chipped, but it's a little ball ice.
And they're just so easy to chew on. It's soft. It's just I love them. They're
not breaking your teeth.
Lion's Choice can do no wrong to me.
No, Lion's Choice is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If Lion's Choice would like to sponsor Let's Go Booze Radio, contact us at radio@letsgobooze.com.
Or if the ice from Lion's Choice would like to sponsor Let's Go Booze Radio.
That would be great to have Lion's Choice ice sponsor the show. Man, if I were to contact them and propose that's kind of funny.
I would love that. If we literally were just like, hey, seriously, you can pay us a fraction of what our other sponsors pay us if you can just have your ice be our sponsor.
Just give us coupons, for like half off
for free ice.
Yeah, half off a meal.
give us coupons for free ice.
You're right.
They have a pretty good social team. I bet we could probably get something done there. You guys probably could, not me.
We'll see what we can do. Lion's Choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bill, beer.
Well, I've been working at it a little bit.
Wow, that looks like a really expensive pour of wine. There's not much in there.
Yeah, it was full when I started.
It's Bourbon County, right?
It is.
Oh yeah,
Bourbon County, baby. It is the Midnight Orange 2018 variant that I decided tonight was the night. I'm off this week. I don't care how much I have to drink tonight.
And it's paired with. Yeah,
and Kurt gave us all a Terry's chocolate orange in our Christmas goodie bag, so that's what I'm having.
That sounds like a great pairing.
Mine was gone the next night. You're right. I'll admit it wasn't like oh my god, this is the best treat I've ever had, but it was very refreshing. It was very nice, and I did enjoy it.
Had you had the chocolate orange before, Jeff?
No, I'd never had one, and that's where our conversation with that stemmed, was because I never had one.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, it was very nice. I liked, and that'll be a new pickup I get every holiday season.
Yeah, awesome, very good.
So,
and you'll think of me.
Thank you for that. You are expanding my treat horizons.
Okay, and you are now it's a ritual now, tradition.
Yes, it will be. Yep. So my beer, which like Bill, I've had quite a bit of after all of our technological differences tonight. I have from our friends, well, not really our friends because they're in Colorado, right? Left Hand Brewing Company.
Yep.
So not our friends, our rivals. They're our rivals. Oktoberfest Marzen Lager, and I like what Bill said to me on Twitter after he saw my beer. He said that remembering the good times from Oktoberfest, when the Blues were 3-0 at one point. So that was nice.
All right. We are due for our first break. We'll discuss some roster rumors on the other side of this break from our friends over at Rockin' That Idea Life. You're listening to Kurt, Jeff, and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car. And the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same triphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
We got some roster moves to discuss. Scandella and Perunovich were both activated off the IR. Scandella joined the Blues and actually played against Carolina last game, and Perunovich joined Springfield for conditioning. Jake Neighbors went on the IR after suffering an upper body injury versus the Senators, which is a shame because he was due to get some a good amount of ice time with all the trades being made and the forwards leaving the roster, so he stood to see a lot of ice time. So now he's out for like 5 weeks now.
Episode 400 is getting off the rails because you switched it up on Bill and I. So
did I?
You did.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I did? What the hell?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Happened?
We can talk about the roster moves. This is important.
No, I'm sorry. I could have sworn I moved it and I didn't.
No, it's okay. We can talk about
weird.
this and then get into the other thing. It's
Yeah,
fine.
okay.
We'll just
roster
reshuffle on the
moves,
fly.
Roster moves and then rumors.
Yes, the beauty of doing a live show, right? Like this is normally where a podcast would be like, oh, all right, let's edit this. No, we can't do that. That's the beauty of it. That's why you love us. So no, I said this and I instantly regretted it after the game last night. Marco Scandella will be the best Blues defenseman for the rest of the season. He wasn't bad last night. I mean, it's his first game back all year. It's fine. It's just, and I'm actually excited to get him back, get a new face in there from this season. This has been such a absolute garbage dumpster fire shit show, whatever moniker you want to put with this defense. I was happy to get him back. I'm happy to see Perunovich is already back too, and he's playing in Springfield. And I don't know what you guys think. I think I'm okay with Perunovich just playing the rest of the season down there. Why bring him up at this point? Unless you just want to see what you got in him, which I get. But, I mean, this team ain't going anywhere. Let him get some seasoning in Springfield the rest of the year.
I think if you're going to make moves to the defensive core, personally, I think as long as Perunovich is cleared 100% to play with the big boys, I'd like to see him up here just to get more of a look at him. If they're going to, make a few moves on defense, if they're going to maybe move a guy to get a guy to move his no trade clause and maybe, do something at the deadline with that or bring somebody else in, or I don't know, see what you got, Perunovich, a little more, get some more, get a longer look at him. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather him get injured up here than down there.
That's a great point.
I mean, yeah, get him some games. Springfield's playing some meaningful games at this point in the year. The Blues aren't. It's just let him come back in, let him play some. And you talked about Scandella and looking forward to having him back. I only saw him play one shift last night. Not that I was paying a ton of attention, but he was not. I noticed him one time.
He was a one of the few defensemen who was not a negative last night.
Right. Because he wasn't out there much. But
Right.
What was his ice time? Let's take a look.
Go ahead. 13.
it had to be 13 or below. 14 or below, I'd say.
I looked it up earlier and I forgot, but I know it was right around 13 minutes, I thought.
That sounds about right. Not getting a ton of minutes, but
we got Austin Lynch, who's our producer. You don't have to look it up.
There we go. Well, I mean, but I'm already there.
Okay, go ahead.
15:43.
15:43. Wow.
Yeah.
Austin just flipped you off behind camera, by the way.
I mean,
hey, Ken Morris, Ken, and I want to apologize to our listeners again. We obviously had some technological differences, as I said, so I'm glad some of you. I know I saw the Meeker in the previous video. Ken has made his way over. Joe Bray's videos, a couple of the others. Thank you for still joining us. Sorry we had some issues. Hopefully you all found your way over here in enough time.
So there, a lot of rumors floating around right now involving the Blues. So and it's kind of a fun. I mean, the poor hockey aside, it's kind of fun to be involved in some of these rumors. The Blues the Blues are being brought up a lot.
We need distractions,
right?
Yes,
right.
We need distractions.
So pulling off a nice trade or add, moving a first round pick or two, bring in a big name to help with the team next year. I'm waiting, the next week or so for someone to waive the no trade clause to go somewhere. It's kind of interesting. But Timo Meier rumors, Timo Meier to St. Louis rumors are picking up steam. Frank Saravalli said the Blues are in on Timo Meier, and there was a no-name hockey trade rumors account. There's 1,000 of them that said the Blues had a standing offer for Timo Meier. Which, take that with a grain of salt. It could be complete BS. But I think Saravalli said, "Who's to say Armstrong doesn't flip one or maybe even two of those first-round picks for an established NHLer with some term left on their contract? I can see it happening for the right player, especially because the Blues aren't going into a full rebuild. Armstrong is merely reloading. St. Louis should be competitive again next season and given their full board of draft picks well into the future." What's interesting with Timo Meier, too, is that in 2015, the rumor was that St. Louis and San Jose put together a trade that eventually the Sharks pulled out of. And the Sharks were going to send the Blues Tomas Hertl and the number 9 pick in the 2015 draft. And the return from the Blues to San Jose was TJ Oshie and Kevin Shattenkirk. And San Jose eventually used that number 9 pick to draft Meier. So
think about that. If that trade happens, Blues get Tomas Hertl, who I'm a fan of. I know he's had some injury problems, but I love that. Oshie ends up getting traded anyway. Actually, both Oshie and Shattenkirk get traded to the Capitals.
Yep.
But think of it this way, folks. That trade happens, there's a good chance Zach Sanford is never a St. Louis Blue.
So who scores the 4th goal in the Game 7 of the final then?
Tomas Hertl.
Armstrong, and it's rumored that Armstrong has been interested in Timo Meier since then, apparently. So Pierre LeBrun has reported the Sharks want 3 pieces for Timo Meier, with 2 presumed to be a top prospect and a first-round pick. So, top prospect would be Snuggerud, Bolduc. It'd be great if the first-round pick the Blues hold on to, if they do make some moves, is their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty big. That's a big difference. And
I wonder if that's what the Blues, because right now you gotta think the Blues are probably the only outside of the playoffs team, like far out of the playoffs team, interested in Timo Meier. So the Sharks are going to come at the Blues and say, "We want your first round pick." Yeah. And the Blues are going to say, "Well, absolutely not. But we've got these other 2 first round picks. Toronto can't offer you a first round pick. The Rangers can't offer you a first round pick. So we can give you one of theirs because that's what you'd be asking for from them anyway."
And a prospect. So,
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
I do. Yeah, he's right upstairs. He's up there. He was an asshole tonight, but I know where he's at.
Minor right there.
Yeah, there you go. No, I said this on Twitter that I I love Timo Meyer's game. I've always been a big guy, a big power forward guy.
You have
That's what I'm
always
trying
been a
to
big
say.
guy.
I have always been a big guy.
Every time I see you, I would greet you. Hey, big guy.
Hey, big guy.
No, one of my favorite things, side note, and Lynch is probably sitting there, producer Austin's sitting there going, oh my God, don't go onto a tangent. One of my favorite things ever was when I mentioned last week that briefly I worked on a contract role where you work, Bill, and I came up behind you and like tapped you on the shoulder when I saw you, and I was like, hey, Bill, and you like kind of shot back. I don't know if you remember this. And what you said to me was so funny. You were like, I just forget how big of a guy you are.
Yep.
And I'm like, I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, whenever I get startled at work, it's not a good thing because the line of work that I work in, you never want a large impending human being coming up behind you and tapping you on the shoulder.
That's never a good sign.
No.
That's probably the case for most people. But anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say Timo Meyer is the last 2 seasons, about a point a game player. Last season, he was 76 points in 77 games, and this season, 52 points in 57 games. It's on a bad Sharks team. So he's putting up points. And that's, I mean,
and I think, and I said this to you guys in our little weekly chat that we have, imagine him on a line with Chychrun and Thomas, a guy who's going to drive the net, create offense just by going to the net. I mean, I'm thinking of like and I know they're rare, but a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2. Timo Meyer is your decoy. He's the guy that's going to drive the net. Thomas and Chychrun are going to be passing it back and forth until one of them has a wide open net. So that's the kind of play I'm thinking of. And I love the way Timo Meyer plays the game. Just a dude that you don't want to mess with. And we've all bitched, especially the Bluesers, the people who love the old school hockey, the big guys who don't take shit from anybody. That's Timo Meyer.
Right. And let's be honest, with that style of play, the 3-on-2, Thomas and Chychrun passing back and forth, Chychrun's going to pass it more than half the time, pass up a good shot. Because
little spin-a-rama behind the back on a 2-on-1 that didn't work last night.
That you know what? That almost worked, and that would have been so fucking pretty.
Yeah, but it didn't work, and then
Svechnikov
scored.
So let's make fun of him.
Right.
That's how it works. It didn't pull off, so fuck you, Chychrun.
Well, you know what though? I didn't think it was necessary. I thought it was telegraphed and unnecessary. You know what I mean? But
I agree. But either way, I how do you guys feel? I've said mine. I would love it. I know that giving up one of those first round picks, some people may not want to do so quickly. I'm all for it.
This is why we have the first round picks, to do stuff with.
Right.
Options. Would love to have options because if you when we first acquired the picks, and we have 3 picks now, one of the first things I said was, we're not going to draft 3 players in the first round. We're going to trade 1 or 2 of these picks to either move up or to acquire somebody for next season and beyond, or to help move somebody off this roster that is bottlenecking stuff. Those are the 3 options. I cannot see us. Well, I guess an option is to actually use them in the draft, but I don't see that happening. I say we'd keep 1, maybe 2,
right?
2 tops. I mean, there's no way.
Armstrong used the word equity for a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was pretty convinced at that point that he was going to move the picks in some form, whether it was to try to package move further up in the draft or to bring in a top talent now.
Too, that if they can't move on from this version of this defense because of the no trade clauses, if no one waives and they all stay, then they're going to have to do something like last year to outscore our problems on defense. And you bring in Meyer, you bring O'Reilly back. I don't know. You have to, right? If you can't change the defensive core, either you just sit on it for a while until you can, or you load up with forwards, right? I mean, you try and outscore your problems. You beat Edmonton,
with Toronto.
Edmonton.
Edmonton. Yeah.
Yeah. The shitty defense and the questionable goaltending for Edmonton. Well, we have the goaltending, but the defense is non-existent. So yeah, you win games 6-4, right? That's the goal. I don't know.
Yeah, and I would think that's probably the way to go. That's the more likely path for me. Because again, I know everybody's going to say, "Well, just trade Krug, just trade Parayko." But again, and we're going to talk about Parayko here in a little bit.
You see it every day.
It's just right. You can say all you want. Well, there's ways around it. Yes, there are, and sometimes it works out. But looking at the contract situation, the way it is, these defensemen, every one of them, all four of the big high-priced ones, they could easily all say, I'm not waiving it no matter what. You can sit me the entire season, and I'm still not going to waive my no-trade clause.
See,
that can still be the case. So the other path, like you said, Kurt, is load up on forwards, and that's the only other way around it.
That's probably the most fun way to attack this.
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
Greatest show on ice, right?
Yes, let's go mid-80s Oilers all the way.
Right.
You got a goalie who can can make one or two key saves at the right time. But, who needs defense?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, about how the people have said, well, there are ways to get somebody to waive the no-trade clause. And I said, that's, and they're, like you said, you cut their ice time, you healthy scratch them, you say you're not going to play as much, your value is going to go down because you're not playing as much, putting up as many points, whatever. That's a really shitty way to treat your players, and it's a good way to get players to not want to sign here, to treat your players like that, because that would not happen. They wouldn't do that, I don't think. So some teams might, but that's just you're shooting yourself in the foot for future deals possibly. So I wouldn't do that.
I love Ken Morris's comment here. He says, love the Oilers style of play. Run and gun is entertaining, but doesn't win in the playoffs. No, it worked in the 80s for the Oilers, but would it win a cup in the current NHL? But it would be fun. No, you're right. It would not, and it clearly hasn't. The Oilers tried doing it again. The Maple Leafs have tried for multiple years. I don't think it's going to happen that they would be able to win a cup that way. But if we're talking about, again, and this is what I've said to people online who get mad at me for when I want the Blues to still win, well, you should be rooting for them to lose. Sorry, this is entertainment. I want to be entertained. And yes, end goal always, win the Stanley Cup. But at the very least, if I'm entertained and it's a fun playoff run, I'll be happy. Yes, I'll be upset when they lose. But at the end of the day, I'm still like, well, we're still a playoff team, and my God, was that series fun.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
the Avalanche series. That was fun.
There's some stories that will last a lifetime from that the water bottle, the Kadri incident, just everything. It was just, you don't have to, yes, it is all about the cup. You win, that's everything, right? But it's not nothing if you don't get there. That's still something. You still come away with stories and experiences and memories that I'm from a kid. The Blues didn't win the cup when I was a kid. Oh my God, the series against Detroit, Toronto, Chicago, some of those things were epic. And I remember them to this day. And I wouldn't trade those for, missing the cup to try and build, missing the playoffs to try and build elsewhere. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm fine with it. We got our cup, right? So,
yeah. Obviously the goal is to win more, but I'm with you. At this point, entertain me. And Ken Morris, run and gun would sell tickets. Damn right it would. Holy
and you know
shit.
what? You know what too? Sitting in your home, in your living room, and rooting for them to win when some people are rooting for them to lose to improve their place in the draft. It's not like your rooting interest at home is going to affect their play at all. It's not like, oh, they won. That's because you rooted for them at home. Shame on you. It's like, what did it at home didn't make a damn bit of difference what they did on the ice.
Yeah, so. The thing that I look at with all that is, again, I'm wanting to be entertained. I want to see good hockey. 05-06 comes to mind. Yeah. There were games where they would lose 3-2, but I'd be like, damn, they played well. And I love seeing guys like Jay McClement and Dennis Weidman, these guys are playing great. They're playing as hard as they can. They didn't win, but okay, it's exciting. It was still fun. That's what I want. If they still lose games, okay. We're gonna get to the Carolina game here in a minute. Okay. I just want to be entertained. Not to jump ahead too much here. The Carolina game, not entertaining. So that's my goal.
Brian Rugelman says, throwing this out there, I don't want Timo Meier if it involves Snuggerud. And I'll say this about knowns versus unknowns. And the only reason I would agree is salary. Because Timo Meier is going to cost a fortune, right? He's going to whatever 10 million the next season or whatever 8 million, whatever it's going to be, 9 million. So that's a lot, and that would be probably he'd be the Blues' highest paid player next season if they did acquire him and re-sign him. But with that said, I'm all about acquiring knowns versus unknowns. What's Snuggerud projected to be? A middle six guy, maybe at best. I mean,
he's probably projected as a top six.
Top six.
He's projected for a top six and my next jersey purchase.
Okay.
Oh, damn. There we go.
Just because of the name.
Okay.
Future 40 goal scorer, if you ask Bill Day.
See,
in a COVID shortened season.
Yes.
See, and this is where I
22.
Yes.
This is
COVID 25.
This is where I stand too with trading away first round draft picks. Some people want to hold on to these picks and just draft, and it's like, okay, well, it depends on what we can trade them for. If you can get a known good player, really good player for a first round pick, granted, you're going to be paying more for that player, a lot more than you would the first round draft pick for a few years, but still you're getting the known, and it's a sure thing, more or less, as sure a thing as anything can be in the NHL, I guess. Those first round draft picks, while they're great on paper, you still got to draft a guy and develop him and hope he develops into something you could use. Hopefully in a top six role or a top pairing defenseman. But that's a roll of the dice. So especially if you want to, you want to turn it around and win in the next couple of years, a first round pick is not a lower first round pick. It's not going to step in and make this team a cup contender in 2 years.
Yep. And I'll add with Snuggerud again, I would love, I'm excited to see what he has, but if the Blues do trade him and it's involved in a Timo Meier deal, now if they're giving up 2 first round picks, Snuggerud and Bolduc, okay, I'm like, that's a little too much. That's not going to happen. But I'm just saying that's one situation where I wouldn't like it. But if it's Snuggerud and a first round pick for Timo Meier, and you can turn around and sign him to a pretty nice deal, he's pretty proven in the NHL nowadays. Like you said, Kurt, his numbers have been great on a bad Sharks team. And again, I maybe it doesn't work out, chemistry. I remember,
and he's 27.
And I remember 2018, 2019. I remember going into the season, we're all excited about the O'Reilly, Maroon, Tarasenko line. Okay, that did not work out. That was a bad line. So me saying Meier, Kyrou, Thomas, maybe that line doesn't work out. But maybe you get Meier there on the second line with, I don't know, let's just say O'Reilly comes back and a Snuggerud if he's still here. That could turn out to be an excellent line. So it's just, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'll add too, head coach Craig Berube, if he's still here, that's the type of player Berube wants on his team. So I think that a Meier could really thrive under Craig Berube.
What is Meier making right now? He's making what's his salary? 10 million. 10 million base salary, cap hit of $6 million. So he's making his 10 million base salary, cap hit of 6, and I would assume next season he's going to cash in. So
right.
He's due. There's a qualifying offer due on Timo Meier this offseason. So whoever owns his rights, he's scheduled to be an RFA, but that's only if he gets qualified with this $10 million offer. Or so if he doesn't get qualified with this offer, he becomes a UFA. So he can either get qualified for one more year at $10 million, or he can get re-signed for whatever.
Well, and what I'm
signing for.
What I've read too is that the Sharks have not opened up contract negotiations with any team yet. So nobody's making that trade until they can talk to him and say, hey, we want to know, what are you looking for? So when the Sharks decide to open that up, I think he gets traded pretty quickly.
Right. And that's got to be this week, right? Because we're a week and 5 days from
5 days
deadline now. So yeah, it's got to happen.
A week and 2 days.
2 days? You're right. We covered that before. It's on a Friday.
On a Friday.
Yeah, next Friday.
I keep going back to Monday. It was Monday last year.
Yep.
Elliot Friedman said the Ottawa Senators are trying to get a defenseman. So, and there's Parayko rumors flying around. I'm not sure where they're coming from, other than the fact that teams have kicked the tires with Armstrong asking about the availability of Parayko. And that's all we've really heard.
There was rumors about, I mean, it's been for a long time now.
It's been weeks.
But especially the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems like we've heard from a ton, like teams are inquiring, we're interested in Colton Parayko. If you guys are not interested in keeping him around, I will take him. But we had this talk last week. But again, no trade clause.
Yeah. And you know, and that's all we've heard. The teams are interested. They've asked about his availability. That's it. We haven't heard a damn thing about if he actually is available, except for, I think it was Andy Strickland or Korak. Somebody said earlier this season, when someone was asking about Parayko being traded, he goes, from everything we've heard, Parayko was very happy here, would not waive his no trade clause. That was earlier this season. So I don't know why anything would have happened since then to have changed that scenario, other than the fact that he hasn't played well. And maybe he wants a new place to play, but I don't know if that seems kind of not wishful thinking, but a little far-fetched to think.
I think the only time that maybe that happens is if there's some vitriol with the coaching staff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And that does not seem to be the case here.
Right. No. And typically players will waive the no trade clause if it's just a bad situation for them. They don't get along with the coach. The system's not right for them or whatever. Disagreement in playing time or system, the direction of the system and how they're being used, stuff like that. You know, because a player doesn't want to stay in a system that's not going to cater to his skills. You know, it's going to hurt his value. And maybe that's the case with Parayko here. He's been bad. Again, if he's not playing hurt. If he's not playing hurt.
His contract is up when he's 37 years old. Do you think he cares about that right now?
No, I don't. I can see him waiving it if the Blues are going to a full rebuild and he didn't want to, you know, go through 3, 4, 5 years of or plus of, you know, bad teams. But they're not doing that. So I don't know. I'm with you. I think if teams are interested and Parayko would be up for waiving his no trade clause, you got to pursue it. You have to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Armstrong's not stupid. I think he would absolutely pursue that. But we haven't heard a damn thing about his availability from the Blues. So
Mike, I don't know. My thought is, and you guys tell me I'm wrong. As a GM, I have to think that when it finally dawned on him, or maybe it was even way earlier than we realize, when it dawned on Armstrong, okay, I got to move all my UFAs this year. We're not going to make playoffs. We're not going to challenge for the cup. We got to figure this out. I feel like as a GM, you go to your team, you go to your all your guys that have no trade clauses. Maybe you bring them all in at the same time. Maybe you bring them in one by one. And you just say, listen, we're going to have to retool. We're not going to be in the playoffs for the next 2 to 3 years, possibly. I need to know now if you want to stick around, fine. I gave you a no trade clause for a reason. If you don't, tell me right now. Tell me who you want to go to, and if a deal comes up for you that happen, let me know. I feel like I would hope that as a GM, he's at least considered doing that if he hasn't already. But again, there's no guarantee. All those guys, if he had that conversation with them, every one of those guys could have been like, yeah, I signed my no trade clause for a reason. I want to stay. I don't care what happens here. I love it here.
Yeah. Players fight for those things in their no trade clause in their contract. They're not just going to give them up willy-nilly. right? It has to be for a really good personal reason for them to waive a no trade clause. Or just to have a say in where they go, right? Some players may have that mindset. Well, if I'm going to get traded, I want to have a say, so I'll only waive it if I can go here. So that.
And I don't
sense.
think like we talk about like bad juju with your players. You know, if you say, hey, you signed no trade clause, I still want to trade you. I don't think that's what that conversation is that I just mentioned. I think it's more of a courtesy. And I think that if he did that, I don't think there's any ill will there. I don't think it's, oh shit, that means Doug wants to trade me. So I'm kind of hoping that conversation's already happened.
It'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in Armstrong's office, just to see if that's the conversation he has prior to every trade deadline with anybody who has a no trade clause. It's like, hey, just so you know, I'll be getting phone calls. If I get some phone calls about any of you. Now, if he doesn't want to trade anybody, that's different. But if he's up for trading people, say, hey, if you want to go somewhere and I get a call about you, would you want to waive your no trade clause? Just so I have all the information in front of me, Let's see. Brian Rugelman says also you can qualify, but that doesn't mean he will necessarily sign at that price, though. If you qualify a player for 10 million, that is he
Right.
does play at that. That's what he doesn't have a say.
Right.
Right.
It's
that's
right. It's for that year.
Yeah, for
right.
one more year.
It's
right.
And then he goes UFA the following year.
Right. He can't decline that qualifying offer, right? Or can he?
I think he has a certain amount of time before he can fully accept, and that will allow somebody else to step in and say, we want to offer you 11 million, and then the Blues would have to match. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. But then by a certain date, he just has to accept.
We should pause right here and like
Austin.
Call in, send a message to the 32 Thoughts pod that they will play at the beginning of their pod with our pod recording it live, and they play it. That would be awesome, and ask them, because they're a vast source of knowledge on how contracts work under the CBA.
I would. I'm sure Austin's hard at work looking up the qualifying offer.
I can see him. He ain't doing shit.
he's admiring his slides and socks.
So when a team when a team makes a qualifying offer to a player, Meyer, for example, at 10 million, now, and I'm not up on the angle of this, but I mean it's called a qualifying offer, so that does imply that he could turn it down, but he's still an RFA.
That's the restricted part of free agency, right?
He's still an RFA.
It also depends on if he has arbitration rights, which I don't believe he does.
Yeah, I don't have that info in front of me. Austin, I'm sure. Well, as we move along. But so anyway, Friedman said the Sens are trying to get a defenseman. And I think so. And they also just made a trade with Chicago. The Nikita Zaitsev trade. Chicago Blackhawks acquired Zaitsev and a 2023 second-round pick and a 2026 fourth-round pick. And the Senators got future consideration. So some people are speculating that because Ottawa is looking at a defenseman to pick up a defenseman, that they're clearing salary to add a defenseman. And of course, Parayko's name's been out there, so he's been rumored as one of the options Ottawa's looking at. So, but again, that's pesky no trade clause.
Yeah, again, it does scream that Ottawa is interested in somebody, right? Like Zaitsev's he's not living up to his contract, judging by what I've seen from mostly Senators, writers, and fans. But having said that, I don't think. Okay, it looks like Austin says Timo Meier will have arbitration coming up this summer. So basically, from what I understand, that means the Blues can offer him a qualifying offer of $10 million. He can not turn it down, but say, I want more. They can go to arbitration, and then they say, okay, what's your ruling?
Right, and the arbitration is binding, so
right.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
so
Okay.
anyway, so this trade with Zaitsev, yes, it does seem like Ottawa is building for something, whether that's just freeing up salary to bring in another forward like a Timo Meyer or a Patrick Kane, which I think is unlikely, or even just another defenseman. Get somebody with more value at a lower price, maybe. But yeah, it does seem like, man, if there's already been rumors the Senators are interested in Colton Parayko, maybe there is something here to where Parayko maybe has said, if you ever want to trade me, I'll go north. Trade me to Canada. And I don't know. I'm totally speculating. I don't think it's at all true. But maybe there's something there, because that is kind of an odd thing to see that happen tonight.
I don't know. I mean, talking speculation is like, then you ask yourself, would Parayko, why would he waive to go to Ottawa? Where's the tie in there for him? It's other than
Right.
just, liking some of the players in the team or the direction they're headed, because they're a team that's on the rise. We'll see.
Maybe
I've
him
always
and
wanted
Cam
to visit
Talbot
the
are best
capital.
friends.
I've always wanted to visit the capital. I'll go live there for a while. Now, I think to Ken Morris's point in the chat, he thinks Edmonton is maybe the only city that Parayko would waive his no trade clause for, being a Prince Alberta native.
Yeah,
That's that could very well be true, but yeah, they've got a clear space for that to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they have other priorities.
And the rumor is they like Carlson, which, holy
Right.
shit, San Jose would love to get out from under that contract
at least he's playing well this year.
for once.
Yeah, because he was that contract with the way he was playing before.
Season?
Okay. Well, I mean, his last Norris. Well, no. What I mean is his last Norris season was a season that he shouldn't have won the Norris.
He didn't play the penalty kill.
Right. That's my whole take. Is like, you
Right.
can't be the best defenseman in the NHL and win the Norris Trophy if you never play on the penalty kill. Your best defenseman on the team should be on the number one PK unit, and he never played on the PK at all because he was terrible defensively. So how
He
can
was
you
like
be,
he was like the fifth most ice time of defenseman on the PK, and it's like it was like 32 seconds average per game. Like even that.
So he probably jump on at the end of the PK, right? Trying to on the run.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Like, get out there, get the puck, slide it to the guy coming out of the box. Like, that was about it.
So Barbashev talk. Frank Severali on the Daily Faceoff was talking up Barbashev, but in a way that seemed kind of odd to those who watch him play every day, in my opinion, anyway. He mentions a number of teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams, who may be interested or in Barbashev specifically: Jets, Flames, Bruins, Hurricanes, Devils, and Stars. But he talks up Barbashev like they're looking for extra scoring punch, and they're looking to acquire Barbashev. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, last year, he put up good offensive numbers, but he's not that player. He's not a guy that you get for extra scoring punch. He's a guy, in my opinion, he's a bottom 6 guy. You could plug in on the second line maybe as a fill-in, but he's a bottom 6 guy. He's a checker. He's a hitter who can put up a few points. But if you're looking for extra scoring punch, I don't think Barbashev's the guy you're looking at. I think Barbashev's the guy looking at it as a guy who's going to be just a hardworking, solid player in your bottom 6.
Yeah, but I will say, and maybe this is where Saravalli didn't really specify what I'm thinking when I read that. Yes, he does add a scoring touch at a low cap hit. And I think that's the biggest part of saying, yeah, Barbashev's got a scoring touch at $2.5 million. That is very cheap. So, yeah, if you can find a way to plug him in and have him kind of refine that magic he had last year in a certain line, then yes, he will re-add that scoring touch. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he's mostly a bottom 6 guy, middle 6 guy, I guess you could maybe call him. But yeah, I think his value is where he's being paid. And pretty much almost any team can find a way to fit in what he's being paid left for the cap under what they have.
He has, in 50 career playoff games, Barbashev has 9 points. So he's not exactly a guy who shows up offensively in the playoffs. I mean, now, granted, the knock, Severelli also said the knock on Barbashev is when he does throw his weight around, he tends to do it late with a lot of questionable hits. I think he's probably thinking back to the Cup run where there was a couple of questionable hits and Barbashev was suspended for a game for a questionable hit. But
something I thought about when I read that, real quick side note, is how many suspensions have the Blues had since that playoff run? Remember how we speculated and got pissed off and we're like, what the fuck? Like, some of these suspensions are ridiculous compared to the other hits we've seen in the playoffs. Man, there might be a little bit to that, right? Like, Barbashev has not been considered a dirty player since 2019. And maybe it's part of it's that he's cleaned up where he's hitting, but I don't know. I just feel like it's weird to say, well, we had all these suspensions from Sundqvist to Barbashev, and then now we don't see any at all.
Bushnevich.
Yeah.
Bushnevich.
Austin,
oh, that's right.
Austin Lynch to the rescue.
Yeah. Yeah. He 2 suspensions.
Yeah.
He had one at the start of this season and one at the start of last.
Yeah. The headbutting was this season, right?
Headbutting was last season, and this season was, what was it? He did something. Got suspended for a game because I made a comment. Yeah. Early in the season. I said it wouldn't be the start of the season without a Bushnevich suspension. What was it? Yeah.
Austin will find it.
Damn it.
He'll find it. Move on.
I feel shame for
anyway, so the teams that we've heard rumored around Barbashev, Winnipeg, Calgary, Boston, Carolina, New Jersey, and Dallas. With the Blues wanting to retool, I don't see them moving him to a Central Division team if they can avoid it.
Not a chance.
I think you could see Boston, Carolina, New Jersey. I think those are the 3 that really stand out to me.
Yeah, I agree. Bush didn't get suspended this season. What happened then?
I didn't think he did. Yeah, just the
one
time.
He got tossed. He got tossed in the game.
He might have.
What the hell happened?
I know he's been suspended before for headbutts. But he was a Ranger the time before it happened.
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know. Anyway, so and the asking price from what I hear is still a 2nd-round pick and a prospect, which we'll see what that prospect would be. But I gotta think, man, with Doug already making moves with Tarasenko and O'Reilly, I gotta think he's thinking I can literally hold on to Barbashev until what time's the trade deadline? Like noon on the 3rd.
And get a first out of it. Yeah,
I can literally wait until 11:59. I can wait you guys out, and then just be open with every GM. Hey, this guy's already offered me his 2nd-round pick and this prospect. What can you do to better that? If I don't hear from anyone else by 11:59 on March 3rd, I'm just going to give it to them. And I think he could wait and see if he can get another 1st-round pick out of it. 2 p.m. Central. So, 1:59 on March 3rd.
Yeah, there was some speculation. I'm trying to find it earlier this week that Barbashev's value was just driving up. It was before the Carolina game, but that it was not unreasonable to think that he could fetch a 1st-rounder at that point.
That's
you imagine
if they can get a 1st round for Barbashev, a bottom 6 guy, a 1st-rounder who's having an off year.
But that's the thing. He got so much good exposure during the Cup run that people are mistaking him for a top 6 guy when he really is a 3rd-line guy.
No, I mean, if they can get that, fantastic. And if Armstrong can pull off a 1st-round pick for Barbashev, and now you know what I mean. A team may want the Blues to retain some salary on Barbashev, so maybe that could play into, what they get in return too.
And that's fine.
But still, I agree. I mean, but if they get a 1st-round pick, no matter what, I mean, maybe Barbashev and a 3rd for a 1st-round pick or something. or Barbashev in a second. I don't know. That would be mind-boggling.
Yeah.
My mind would explode. To have 4 first-round picks in this draft. The Blues ever had 4 first-round picks ever
Probably
in the same draft?
not.
Have they ever had 3?
I can't imagine many teams have. And with how deep this draft is, oh shit.
I don't think they've ever had 3 in the first round. Could be wrong. I'm just off the top of my head.
And I now regret that Parayko didn't get traded before the show, because we would have seen drunk on edibles Jeff Ponder.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
Do you know
how amazing would that have been?
So, Jacob Chychrun has been rumored to be traded for the past 25 years. Still not. Still
easily 24. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. Still out there, and Arizona's in no hurry, right, to trade him. Apparently, they say this, which they might not be, but apparently they're asking for 2 first-round picks, or a first-round pick and a prospect that would equal a first. So if the Blues were to offer Arizona a first-round pick and a prospect for Chychrun, and they take it, say Bolduc and a first-round pick for Chychrun, he's not making a ton of money. So it was 4.5, something like that. Salary. He's really affordable. So they could acquire him, and if the asking price for Timo Meier is a first-round pick and say Snuggerud, and the Blues could land, assuming they make it work salary-wise. I don't know if they could, with signing Meier, Chychrun and Meier in the same trade deadline.
In a year that they're not trying to make the playoffs either.
Wouldn't that be bananas? Now we would have so much money on defense, even with the nice cap hit for Chychrun. I don't know how it would work. I don't think O'Reilly comes back at that point. I don't know. But
yeah, the O'Reilly ship has sailed at that point. But I also think that our Parayko fantasies are realized. He's no longer here.
If
maybe one of the others, right?
I'm saying with our no trade clause players staying here.
I think that's as much as I hate.
I don't see it happening with that.
I don't either. But I'm saying, based on what teams are wanting and what we have to give, we have what apparently what Arizona is wanting. Now, if that first round pick is not high enough for them, that's a different story. But we do have what's available. And Chychrun is a defenseman who, not the prototypical guy that we need necessarily, right? He's more of a puck mover. He's not really the number one, big, tough defenseman that we probably need. And Timo Meier will be a great add. I don't know. We do have the resources, if the rumors are true, what they're asking for, to acquire both, assuming that they would like the position of the first round pick.
The only way that you go get Chychrun is if you are guaranteed that one of your no trade clause defensemen will be moved.
I'm with you.
Otherwise, you're adding way more money to a defense that is underperforming.
I know. That's probably the scenario that would happen.
Right.
But I'm Cap.
I get what you're saying.
Cap notwithstanding.
I'm catching what you're throwing at me. I like where your head's at. It's just, I think in order for that to happen, there's just no way you can have that much money tied up in a bad deed.
Can you imagine? Let's say Parayko does get moved. He waives his no trade clause, does get moved, and we get Chychrun, and we get Meier, and then we sign O'Reilly in the offseason. I mean, it's like, you talk about getting a fan base excited.
All right. Let's say this. If that all happens, I will eat edibles before every show over the summer.
Wow.
Every show, every episode over the summer, I will have an edible.
You're going to have about a gallon of water next to you for each show?
Yes.
Wow. All right. So we are due for a break. So let's where are we at here with our breaks? We are at
Mr. Burgoyne.
Mr. Burgoyne. We'll talk I guess another rumor and a roster move down in the AHL. after this word from strikewithmike.com. This is Let's Go Blues Radio.
During the magical 2019 playoff run, I was in the midst of buying my current home. Every time I spoke with my realtor, obviously, home buying was the discussion. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about what was destined to happen for our St. Louis hockey team. If only there were a realtor who could have walked me through the process, held my hand when needed, but was there to be a sounding board when I wanted to complain about a certain hand pass goal. Let realtor Mike Burgoyne with Rio Brokerage be that for you. He'll have your needs top of mind as he skates you through the home buying or selling process, dangling you past any obstacles and assisting on all your home goals. Check out strikewithmike.com for more information or give him a call directly at 314-753-4060. That's Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage at strikewithmike.com, and that number again is 314-753-4060. Don't forget to tell Mike that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
We got Jill Smith chiming in with asks us, anybody know Arizona's asking price for Chychrun? We just actually just covered that. Did I not say that? Maybe I didn't. Arizona's wanting 2 first-round picks or a first-round pick and a prospect that would equal a first. So the first round, I would assume that if we did, we were in on Chychrun, and the first-round pick and the prospect that would equal a first would be, Balduke or Snuggerud, right? So from our prospect pool. So yes, we do know the asking price, apparently, according to.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
You got to figure
right.
that's probably correct.
And Austin Lynch said, producer Austin says, the most picks we had in the first round was 3, and we took Lars Eller, Ian Cole, and David Perron.
Yep, and I remember that very well. David Perron, number 26, I believe, in that draft, and joined the team next year under head coach Andy Murray.
Ooh, anti-white skates, Andy Murray.
Yep.
There are people, there are listeners of this show, younger fans that probably do not know that story.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Murray and the you heard the story, right? With Andy Murray, he would slip notes underneath players' doors in the hotel, like strategies and shit. And apparently it annoyed the piss out of the players the way he did stuff.
he assigned him homework like Herb Brooks, I heard too.
Yeah.
Right. He totally took those cliched things from the Disney Herb Brooks movie and and tried to make them a real thing. And oh god, he was worst coach in Blues history.
Davis.
Second to Mike
Davis. I actually don't have my problem.
Payne
with
was
Davis
okay.
Payne.
Payne
Yeah.
was
What
okay.
about Mike Kitchen? He was
Kitchen was
bad.
bad. Kitchen was the worst. Kitchen was the worst.
Yeah.
We made the playoffs under Murray, right? So
True.
Yeah,
Right.
2009.
Kitchen was awful.
Kitchen was the consummate lieutenant, right? He was Q's right-hand man, and he had that D playing so well the entire time they were here together. But yeah, put him in charge of the D, and what's the defensive strategy? D to D and up the boards every time.
Every fucking breakout.
Safe and predictable.
Yep. It didn't matter the defenseman either. Barrett Jackman, you're gonna skate it up the boards. Not a puck moving defenseman.
That's why we got Doug Lynch.
Yeah, right. Yep. I don't know if you want to go ahead and comment here.
Oh, well, Jeremy Pinkowski says in the YouTube chat, no to Meyer and no to Chychrun. So he is not a fan of acquiring either of those players.
He wants to see us use those draft picks.
Is that the case, Mr. Pinkowski? Would you rather see us draft those players and keep them and develop them?
I think at that point you're talking about a rebuild, not a retool.
Yeah, probably. I think so.
I think, Bill, you kind of alluded to making the claim in our Ryan O'Reilly trade show. I don't think I'm going to say with 100% certainty, the Blues are not making the 3 first-round picks that they have right now. They're not making all 3. There's just at least one will be moved. And like Kurt said, maybe even just gets moved to move up into the draft. But either way, the 3 they have now, they're not making those 3 picks.
No, it'd be interesting. Because if on draft day, if they have 3 first-round picks and they aren't making any, trades to acquire active NHL players, they're going to trade 2 picks to move up, or whatever. I can totally see that. Let's see. Where are we? In the outline here, we've got
Colton Ellis.
Colton Ellis. Oh yeah, Colton Ellis. Colton Ellis has been called up from the Tulsa Oilers in the ECHL to the Springfield Thunderbirds of the AHL. So speculations are being made at this time of year when most moves are made. This one's interesting. Could Greiss be on the way out and Hofer be about to be called up? So that would make sense if Ellis is now in Springfield in preparation for Hofer being called up.
Could just be for a Springfield Thunderbirds playoff run. It could
just
be.
Yeah. Who is the Russian keeper that we had?
Jarenko.
What's I have not paid attention to the Thunderbirds. What did he? Those pads that he wore in the Traverse City tournament, oh my god, that was goalie porn. But I have not kept up with how his season went.
So from what I understand, both him and Hofer are having very good seasons. The goaltending has not been an issue in Springfield.
So then you would have to think that the speculation is that Greiss is on his way out and Hofer's on his way up.
We have got our friend of the show, Vanessa Graff, former co-host of the show and future co-host of the show as well. She has said Ellis is not called up because of that. Jeff referenced my tweet for Jarenko's performance so far. You're making me look things up now, Vanessa. Come on.
She's also throwing a wet blanket on our speculations too.
Right. Live fact checking is not good.
Come on, we're supposed to have fun on this show, and now you're just like poo-pooing on stuff.
Right.
Jeez.
You're making Austin look real bad.
Future producer of the show, Vanessa Graff.
But yeah, it goes without saying that if Greiss does get moved, I don't really think he would. I don't know if we take like a 5th round pick for him or something. I don't know. I'm not sure who would want him. But if he does get moved, then yeah, I'd like to see Hofer. I'd like to waive Greiss. I'd like to see Hofer finish the season up here. If he's going to be here next year, get his feet wet. Why not?
Yeah. Well, Greiss has been serviceable, but giving up a 7th spot to Ottawa.
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying, if Hofer is going to be here next season, get him some games.
Right.
4 or 5 starts down the stretch.
Right, but do you waive a guy that you signed? That made his. He's a established veteran, right? Do you want to potentially make that your reputation? If you need a serviceable veteran player in the future, well, if you're just going to cut me at the end of the year, I'm not going to sign there.
Well, yeah, but players get waived frequently. It happens. Do you think a team would want Greiss as a backup?
Anaheim wanted Chad Johnson.
Okay. Maybe they would. If anybody wants Greiss for anything, I don't know why the Blues wouldn't move him. Why have him here if somebody wants him for anything? For future considerations, right?
Yeah.
Anything.
I've got it, Vanessa. She's giving me trouble. I pulled it up. Yeah, she made a great tweet here about Jarenko. He's in 16th place in AHL goalie rankings, while Hofer is currently on February 10th.
Hold up.
And it looks like with the Thunderbirds, Vadim Jarenko's at 7-7-1. What?
You were robotic again. I was not
You were.
trying to. I was not trying to yell at you again like last week.
No, it's okay if you
I
do.
was trying to be polite and
Jesus.
say, "Hold up, hold up."
I'm sorry. I need a new computer. Unfortunately, yeah.
No, I was
had
just.
this
I
thing
just
for
wanted
too
you.
long.
If you, I wanted you to not before we got too far to kind of rehash what you just said because you
Yep.
broke up a little bit.
So Jarenko, 16th for goalie rankings. Shut up, Austin. He's giving me trouble here. He's 7-7-1. And again, February 10th. GAA of 2.71, save percentage of 0.923. So he's doing very well. I don't know. Maybe there's a trade in the works. I don't know. Maybe you move one of these guys. I hate to say it because I think Hofer is your future backup and maybe even future starter. But maybe there's talk of moving one of these guys to a team that is looking for goaltending help in the very near future.
Greiss
I don't
in
like
a first
dealing-
to Detroit for Dylan Larkin.
Ooh, I don't like dealing goaltending depth. With how fickle goaltending can be, I don't like doing it. If you've got some depth, I like keeping it as long as you can. I don't know. You want to take another break before we go to the recap of the Carolina game?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll talk about the Blues laying an egg in Carolina right after this word from the Center Ice Beery. So don't nobody go nowhere. Do you like hockey? No, of course you do. Do you like beer? Of course you do. Are you 21? Let's hope so. If you answered yes to all of those questions, run on down to your local beer distributor and pick up a 2-4 of Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, or any other delicious hockey-themed beer from Center Ice Brewery. That's right, Center Ice Brewery beer is available at various beer stores around town, so check around for the one closest to you. That's Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues! I'm gonna finish my line so I can edit the podcast to put it all together. So don't nobody go nowhere. There we go.
In Austin's defense, you did tell him when we trained him that when you say radio is when he should switch to commercial.
Well, right, but I didn't say that. I said we'll talk about the Blues laying an egg in Carolina after this word from Center Ice Beery. So don't nobody go nowhere. This is Let's Go Blues Radio. That's what I was gonna say.
Maybe he did it at Beery. Maybe that's what it was.
I think so.
Yep. Austin, explain yourself.
See my way out.
He says he'll see his way out.
Well, here's the thing too. I'm using my MacBook and it's already delayed as hell. So I was like trying to time it perfectly, and then I was like,
Well-
shit.
Yeah. So you're using a MacBook and Jeff's using a 486. What do we got going on?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I got out of this.
All right.
All right. Bye, Austin.
All right. The Blues do lay an egg in Carolina. Kind of a comedy of errors. Marco Scandella, who had hip surgery in August, had 4 hits and 2 block shots in the 15-43. We had it in the outline, guys.
We actually did.
15-43 of ice
God.
time in his season debut. This game was his 700th in the NHL. He played for the Blues, Minnesota Wild, Buffalo Sabres, and Montreal Canadiens.
And the Kansas City Scouts.
And the Kansas City Scouts and the Cleveland Seals.
And he's the nephew of Sergio Momesso.
Yes.
Who
One
is
of the
the
better
nephew
names.
of Justin Thoreau? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there now.
Egbert Thoreau. Prove me wrong. Barbashev not helping his trade value with Carolina's. We're not going to break this game down in detail. I think we're going to complain about it.
But we should. There's so many good things to break apart here.
We want to complain about a few things and then move on because I thought on Carolina's first goal, Barbashev. I was not lazy back check. If you watch the replay, he's like going 70% skate back into the zone, and he turns it up at the last second to try and catch Svechnikov's goal, his first goal. He came in, walked in, picked a corner on Bennington. I thought Barbashev could have had him. Picky, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. To Barbashev's defense, he should not have gotten that pass. what the fuck is Cairo doing? Not shooting.
Right.
And then who was the one forward you did not see back in the defensive zone at all before Svechnikov got the shot off?
Does he wear 25?
He does.
Mm.
That play, goddamn, that is so emblematic of Jordan Kyrou. In the very next shift, he gets a very good shot off. Why aren't you shooting every fucking time?
Shoot.
You are this team's premier goal scorer.
Mhm.
Every time you pass, like, you know, and this can't happen in this day in the NHL, but every time you make a pass when you have a prime scoring opportunity, $500 fine from Coach Group.
You know, Brett Hull needs to have a talk with him about shooting. Brendan Shanahan, bring him in. Have him spend the day with Chychrun and say, you know what, I shot every single chance I got. And
you know what? You could have somebody on the roster right now have that talk with him. Tyler Tucker. That guy fires it every chance he gets. And you know what? I don't mind it. That's what this team needs right now.
No, a shot on net is rarely a poor decision. It might not be the best decision, but it's not a bad decision. It's on net.
Right. And real quick, shout out to that kid I saw at the Schnucks in Edwardsville Sunday night at 8:00 wearing the Tyler Tucker jersey.
Yeah.
You are the one.
Oh.
You bumped into Chris Bray, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
It was an eventful Sunday evening out shopping in Edwardsville. I got to meet Chris Bray. And you know, I should have realized right away because he was wearing the full Michigan regalia, and you know, props to him. You know, diehard Michigan sports fan.
Oh gosh,
U of M sports fan. Great to meet him. Had a great conversation, and had it not been for the significant other suggesting we needed to move along, we'd probably still be talking right now. So
what it is
actually,
with her.
Yeah. What? Come on. What the hell? No. While we're kind of on this topic, I do want to say I was at friend of the show, Crappy Goalie. I was at his daughter's game actually on Saturday. They played real close to my house, and this gentleman made me feel like a superstar. He walked by. I was talking to all my buddy Crappy Goalie's family, and he was the coach of the Merrimack Sharks, and said, "Hey, big fan of the show. Love you guys, and you know, thanks for all you do." And really cool. His name was Joe. So Coach Joe, but he had Ward on his jacket. So I'm gonna guess his name was Joe Ward. Maybe he was wearing someone else's jacket. I don't know. But shout out to Coach Joe. Very nice win on Saturday. Good luck in the playoffs.
So was that at Susan Park or was that at All American?
No, this was ice. So this was at Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, which is All American, right?
No. It's off Lee real close. It's right before you hit Arnold, off Lee Ferry.
Is that a new building?
Newer, like last 8-10 years, maybe. Yeah, right across from a driving range.
To me, the Sharks will always be Susan Park, South County Rec. That
they built a brand new rink, and it's called the Shark Tank. It's a beautiful rink. Played there a couple times, and only about 6 minutes from my house. So
wow,
love it. Yep.
Before we get back into the game, real quick, DJ Joe works at Cardinals Nation. Passed along some information. They announced Guns N' Roses announced that they're going to be at Busch Stadium, and he was curious. They're going to be there. Tickets go on sale February 24th, and the concert is September. Is that 4th? It's a weird graphic. September 4th, I think, or 9th, 4th. He was curious as what blues fans thought about Guns N' Roses coming to Busch Stadium. Apparently, it's a big ass deal. I like Guns N' Roses. I was never a huge fan. But anyway, September 9th, Austin says.
Yes,
So-
yes, I just looked it up too.
Yeah. You guys
Uh,
want to chime in and
I'll
give your
admit,
thoughts on Guns N' Roses? I mean,
I'm not a big Guns N' Roses fan. I mean, a couple songs are fine. I know friend of the show from Blues Hockey Podcast, Chris Frank, that's his favorite band of all time, so he is very excited. But and I don't hate them. My brother loves them.
I
My
like 'em.
brother is probably very excited.
Yeah.
It's just not really been my thing.
Right. If my 8th grade class had like their choice of band of the class, that would have been it. They convinced our music teacher, Mrs. Johnson, to play Mr. Brownstone. And they all coughed at the same time when he said fuck, and thought that covered it up. It was awesome. Great moment. Not my cup of tea, but Guns N' Roses, this is not their first time back since the riot.
they were at the Scott, Enterprise Center, right? Or Scott Trade. Whatever it was.
Yeah. So it's not that big a deal. I mean, they're
It's Busch Stadium, so which is a much bigger venue. So
They're a lot older now too, so I would hope that kind of thing won't happen.
They're in there. We're in it for the money phase. So
Yeah.
Pay the money and go.
Yeah, I don't think Axl Rose is showing up drunk an hour late to events anymore.
Well, it was only a couple of years ago that during one of those comeback tours, right, that he was on stage. Maybe it was maybe before COVID, I guess. Maybe it was. I'm not sure, but he couldn't make it through the concert. His voice gave out, and he didn't sound very good. But I think he's worked on that since then. But anyway, Guns N' Roses at Busch Stadium on September 9th this year. Big hairy deal. So on Carolina's second goal against the Blues, and this is the goal that kind of just didn't notice it when it first happened because I was half watching the game, but then when I watched it on replay, I was like, so if you go on NHL.com or SLBlues.com and you look at the game, the condensed highlights of the games, like 8 minutes long, whatever, at the 1 minute and 10-second mark, you'll see a face-off in the Blues zone, and which the face-off is lost, but Chychrun and Barbashev are lined up to the left of the face-off dot in the middle of the ice in the blue zone in front of the net. Falk is in the corner, and Rosen is along the boards. Canes win the face-off. Chychrun and Barbashev immediately bolt forward to take the point men, leaving the Canes right winger alone in front of the net, all by himself. They just passed him right up. And so instantly wide open. Falk couldn't get to the front of the net in time because they shot the puck instantly to give this guy a redirect. I don't know who it was. Who was it? The man in front. And it doesn't matter. Redirect. Binnington makes a save, and then Svechnikov gets his. Was it Svechnikov? Yes. Yeah. Gets his second of the game because he's all alone at the side of the net and has a backdoor open side to shoot at. And I'm like, that was awful. First off, the lining up in the defensive zone, I guess there's a strategy behind it on a face-off, but why would you have Barbashev and Chychrun in the middle of the ice in front of the goal, and your defenseman Rosen on the right wing on the boards and Falk in the corner? If you lose the face-off, your defensemen are instantly out of position. You got forwards in front of the net.
I would assume that the strategy there is that Barbashev is going to act as a defenseman.
Well, sure.
In this situation.
Right. I get that. But
and Chychrun bolts because if there's a turnover, he's he's covering a point man, but if there's a turnover, there's a fight for the puck, he's already at the blue line, send it to the middle, he'll beat somebody to I get all that. But yes, this was some of the worst face-off execution I have ever seen.
They just abandoned all responsibility in front of the net. And what's the worst part about this is it's off a face-off draw, a clean loss on a face-off. So everyone has their roles and responsibilities where they're supposed to go if you lose a face-off. So this was somebody either messed up or this was a really shitty plan because they just left the guy all alone in front. I always tell my ice team that
one of the defensemen has to line up basically as a winger in the defensive zone like that. So usually I'm one of the guys that's lined up as a wing, and then I've got a forward behind me. So basically I'm acting as Chychrun. One of my forwards is behind me. This was just, I don't get it. I don't understand this lineup at all.
I would have had either Falk or Rosen in front of the net, and then Chychrun to his left, and then Barbashev on the boards. That's what I would have done.
And the beauty of that is with you have Chychrun behind the defenseman. If there's a win, he just bolts and goes.
Right. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there's a method to the madness on why they'll end up that way. I'd love to hear it, but it seems like I don't know.
I don't think there was.
I don't know, but I look at the replay. I'm like, okay, who's where? I'm like, why the hell is Rosen way over there? If you lose the faceoff, your defensemen are instantly out of position right away.
Yep.
Falk's in the corner, Rosen's on the boards. There's no defenseman in front. So I don't get it.
And I think I think that the plan is that Barbashev acts as a defenseman if there's a loss. But even if that's the case, why not just have Rosen, a defenseman, act as your defenseman?
Yeah.
Right.
That made no sense.
Right. Rosen didn't seem to have a grasp on the situation. And, Svechnikov, I thought, made a brilliant play spinning off of Rosen and using the linesman as a natural pick, right? Rosen, when Rosen turned, he was confused, right? But Barbashev and Chychrun should not have both been cutting already. And I think there was just a complete lack of chemistry between those two, right? That's not, you haven't seen Barbashev with Thomas and Chychrun, even before the Tarasenko trade, right? This is a current team. We're going to try some different things with our future offensive juggernauts, right? And that was bad.
That was a good point. Rosen did get picked by the linesman there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
but I don't think it was a situation where you can fault the linesman. The linesman did what a linesman does on those plays. Yeah. Rosen just didn't know the read, and Svechnikov spun off of him and got open.
And really, honestly, Falk being in the corner, he could have picked up Svechnikov coming to the net. But Falk had to go to the front because Barbashev and Chychrun bolted. So Falk had to go to the front because a shot came and he got there late. So the deflection. So Falk's getting to the guy late who deflected the puck in front, and all of a sudden Svechnikov's got to clear in the net. Nobody to stop him because Falk. It was just like a Keystone Cops kind of moment. It's like instantly boom. How can it be on a face-off loss? Just a simple face-off loss. How can a second after you lose the face-off, instant confusion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't get it.
These are NHL. These are professional hockey players. Let's not even talk about NHL. This is something you learn in Pee Wee, how to take a defensive zone face-off. And, I would be less upset if this was just a situation where Carolina shot from the point, deflected, bounced in a weird spot, guy just has a wide open net. This was a generic play by the Hurricanes. Puck to the net, guy in front, puck goes to the side of the net, there's a guy there.
Yep.
That's every single offensive zone faceoff that you win. That's what they do.
And the Blues players were nowhere to be found for any of that.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable.
Kurt, you said Keystone Cops.
Yeah.
Can we get your more famous saying for that situation?
Oh, like a monkey fucking football out there? Yeah.
Yes, that's what we need. Yep.
The game recap on NHL.com by Kurt Dusterberg. It was funny how he described this goal. Kane's reporter, right? He goes, his second goal made it, is talking about Svechnikov, his second goal made it 2-0 at 7:57 when Binnington stopped a net front tip by Jarvis, and the rebound came to Svechnikov, who scored into an open net on the backhand. Tells you nothing about how that goal actually happened. I mean, that's what happened, but that doesn't explain why it happened the way it did.
Right. written from a guy who only has to tell one perspective.
Right. And then probably one of I would say off the top of my head, Parayko's worst play of the year. Would you say?
Yeah, up there.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of I can't. It was bad. This was really. Falk passes it back to Parayko. Simple little play in front of the Blues net,
Letty.
and Letty passed it back. Okay,
Letty.
Yeah.
Letty passes it back. Which makes sense. He's his line mate. Just mishandles the puck and loses it.
Right. And Letty, like that, Letty's gonna pass it to you, right?
Yeah.
He's peeled off. He was on the other side of the red line, and he peeled off and came back to your zone. He's looking for that take the pressure off pass.
That's
I don't know if you guys saw, but I saw defensive Parayko on this goal. Apparently the forwards went for a change at the wrong time.
They did.
Right.
They did.
But Letty
actually
Letty read that and was like, I'm gonna pass it back to the deepest guy.
Yeah.
He'll be able to get it and chip it off the boards. But Parayko's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I don't think they changed at the wrong time. The players went for a change and Letty's like, okay, we'll pass it back and just kind of reset, which is fine. But Parayko just forgets how to hockey. And he just
you can't blame anyone else on this than Parayko. I'm sorry.
No, I get it. And you can't. And this happens, right? I mean, it's just nobody's perfect. Mishandles happen. This just happened to happen to him in front of the goal in a bad situation where no one was on him right away. But as soon as he mishandled it, then they were like sharks smelling blood in the water. They were like on him, right? And they attacked him and took the puck away. Passed it, scores, because Benson came out to play. It was just a mess. And I wanted to read the write-up on NHL.com for this goal too. So this one's even worse. Here it is. Jarvis scored at 2:25 of the third period for the 4-1 final when Aho forced a turnover against Colton Parayko in front of the net and fed Jarvis, who drew Bennington out of position and tucked the puck inside the left post. That is not what happened.
No, not at all.
He stole the puck.
He didn't force shit.
Hopefully, anybody who was scouting Parayko reads the article and doesn't see the highlight.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Right.
No, and you know what's funny is that this goal, because you said, Kurt, I'm with you. This kind of thing happens. It's just going to happen in the ebbs and flows of the game.
Sure.
The best, Bobby Orr, Paul Coffey have made this play before. It happens. And so I look at this and I just kind of threw my arms up like, God damn it. So it's not even one of those plays that really pisses me off about Parayko, just because it is a weird thing that just doesn't really happen normally. But the fact that he is under fire, the fact that we're talking about trades with him if he weighs his NTC, and now he does a play like this,
he's under the
You're
microscope.
not helping your own cause here, man.
No. And the thing too with misplays, there's a certain mindset as a player that when you have the puck in front of your own goal, you're less casual about things. You're supposed to be, as you would be, say, at center or in the offensive zone. You need to be conscious, aware of what you're doing, and make sure you handle the puck properly and don't fuck it up. And it's a dangerous area of the ice. You got to be sure. You do what you're supposed to do. You don't. I don't know. But yeah, shit happens. I get it, but just not at that part of the ice ever.
Yeah,
ever. What's his name?
That's where you are the most careful.
Right. Was it Smith, Edmonton? My God, cost him the Stanley Cup. Right, passing from behind the goal and off of was it Fuhr's skate? It's Fuhr's skate, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fuhr's skate in the net.
Yeah. It didn't cost them the Stanley Cup. It cost them the conference final.
That's right. Calgary Flames. Right.
Now this was just
on his birthday. That was on his birthday.
That was on his birthday.
Happy birthday.
I mean, I hate my fucking birthday, but I'm sure he hates his more than I hate mine.
So Blues lose this game 4-1. That's 3 losses in a row. Fans are pissed and outraged over the loss. But honestly, what do they really expect right now? I mean, I can understand being embarrassed and like face palming over misplays, but losing a game to Carolina in Carolina are you mad and angry and like, oh my gosh, this team is tanking? Is like, what do you expect right now? They traded away Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Mikkola. They're
the 2 plays we talked about tonight. That's the only reason I was like, what the fuck?
That's different.
That's different. Because again, this was not a situation where it was like, well, they just didn't have the scoring. They lost 2-0. They lost 2 of their big keys. I get it. Barbashev's on, teams on notice because Barbashev's probably getting traded too. But like when it's defensive miscues, just terrible. And again, yes, Parayko with the turnover, but the face-off, that's a structure thing. And to see that happen is just so infuriating and it just, right. What are you doing? Like, we are going to just roll with this the rest of the year. This is the type of hockey we have to watch.
Well, that's different. That's different. I what I'm more talking about is people who are just angry they lost. They're up in arms as this team is just they were voicing their displeasure at losing, not at in particular like plays in particular, which I saw a lot of. And so I was like, are you guys expecting wins at this point in Carolina against a good Carolina team with a
don't turn on this team if you want to be happy.
Okay.
That's my advice.
Next up for the Blues, we got tomorrow, Thursday or tonight if you're listening tomorrow, or yesterday if you're listening on Friday.
If you're
listening on Saturday, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yep. Tomorrow against the Canucks in St. Louis, 7 p.m. on Bally Sports Midwest, as long as there's still going to be Bally Sports Midwest, I guess, for a little while anyway.
I think next they're going to be Let's Go Blues Radio West.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we have the capital. We do have 3 first-round draft picks we can trade to try and get those naming rights.
Do we?
I don't know. we haven't used any. We should have a whole bunch.
We are appropriating the team's equity to ourselves.
We were all undrafted players. We all signed undrafted. We got plenty of picks to give.
We should have something where we do like a Blues podcast draft where we get to draft like upcoming podcasters.
Saturday, the Blues play the Penguins in St. Louis, 2:30 p.m. on ABC. Yay, another afternoon game. And Tuesday, the Blues play the Kraken in St. Louis, 7 p.m. on Bally Sports Midwest. So the the Canucks is a winnable game, obviously. Penguins are, who knows what, Penguins are, they're up and down. They're struggling with the playoffs. Who knows what kind of team we're going to see.
Sidney Crosby couldn't score against the Blues? He's going to get 7 goals in this game.
You think so? You want to bet?
Yeah.
Ooh, bet. Do it.
I will buy you 2-4 of Bud Light Orange if Crosby scores 7 goals.
No, I got something better. No. You don't buy him a 2-4 of Bud Light Orange. You have to drink a 2-4 of Bud Light Orange on the show.
A 2-4. It's a lot of beer.
It is. I think I could probably right. I think I could do that because I polished off that entire Bourbon County in the first half of the show, and then my second half of the show drink is also gone, and that was some good bourbon. So,
ooh, let's say I'm on beer 3 right now. So seems like you're beating me though, because you drank some bourbon.
Bevan Tucker, good stuff.
Perron did get his 700th career point on an assist from Fabry on a Fabry goal. So congratulations to David Perron. That was was that
Yes.
yesterday. That was yesterday, right?
Yes. Yep.
And Tuesday.
No,
And
congrats, David Perron. That's fantastic.
Right. Should have been here.
And then let's not get into that again. And then O'Reilly has a hat trick last night against Buffalo. A 4-point night, right? 3 goals, 1 assist.
I think so. Yeah.
Second star of the
That-
game too, because Marner got the number 1 star. He had 5 points. Marner
That
did.
line, holy
God.
shit! Marner, and apparently Tavares said he wants to play on the wing and give center position to O'Reilly because basically he knows that O'Reilly's better defensively, and it takes kind of the flack off of Tavares for having to be a more defensive player.
Right. Who wants to play
Oh.
defense anyway in the NHL? Be a winger.
Yeah, right.
God, it hurts me so much as a Montreal fan to think that I'm going to be rooting for the Leafs in the playoffs this year.
Ooh, are you? Is that really
I
your team
am.
right now?
I am. I
Oh.
predicted earlier this year that I thought this was the year that the Leafs would take out the Bruins. I think the Bruins are building themselves up for a massive disappointment.
I would
100%.
My take in the playoffs is whoever's Boston is playing. I don't care. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Let's go whoever Boston's playing. And if Toronto plays Boston, that's going to be.
didn't
We should go to
BK
Sunrise Brewery and
Ferraro-
watch that game.
Didn't BK and Ferraro say that we should be rooting for Boston?
Why would they say
Isn't-
that?
I think they said something along the lines of like, oh, well, the team that I'm rooting for just to see what they can do is Boston. And I'm like, what? Why are you rooting for Boston?
Why would anyone outside of Boston root for Boston ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
Right.
fan.
If they kept David Backus the year after they won the Blues beat them for the cup, and it was like Backus's last chance, that might be a scenario in which I'm rooting for the Bruins.
Even then,
Otherwise,
not enough.
Even then,
no.
Because Backus
They
left.
would literally have to acquire every blue in the NHL that has never won a cup, that like wasn't on that cup team. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I'm drawing a blank here. Ville Husso, Jake Wallman. Like they would have to acquire a bunch of Blues players that weren't on the cup team. Then I might be like, maybe I'll root for them.
Ken Morris says he's cheering for the Leafs or the Rangers in the playoffs.
The Rangers are going to be a sexy pick. Just they have some, I mean, Shesterkin, from a goalie perspective, there was a great segment on the 32 Thoughts pod where they had an interview with Jake Allen, and Jake Allen was going on about, like, they asked Jake Allen to build the if you could build the best goalie in NHL history, what characteristics are you taking? And he said Shesterkin's hips. And I'm like, wow, that's sexy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of hot.
Austin has informed us that the Perron assist, the 700th assist happened, or 700th point happened last Friday, not yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Feels
when
like
you're
yesterday.
old.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, The only thing about Boston that I like the goalie celebration, which Bill, I know you have to like that, right? The whole like down.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, Olmark and Swayman. That is a beautiful, beautiful ritual that happens. Whenever they win, I do absolutely love that. And just so on the topic of goalies, there was a goalie goal in the Allsvenska tonight.
Oh,
so go to Twitter, find it. I retweeted it. Goalie goals are the greatest thing ever.
Who was it?
Let me find it. Let me get back to it.
Do you guys know Allmark's career playoff numbers?
Not good.
He's never played.
He's played 2 games.
2 games?
860 save percentage and a 416 GAA. He's 0-2.
Yeah.
Who was he with at that time?
Boston.
Boston. Yeah.
Last year.
He played in relief last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's see, it was a game. 2 games started, so he
Really?
started 2 games. Yeah.
So it was Carl Lindbaum who scored.
He needs to come out
goals
with a
tonight.
lip balm,
Right.
some chapstick. Lindbaum's lip balm.
I wasn't going to laugh, but then when you started laughing, I'm like, all right, he's laughing his own joke. I gotta laugh.
I mean, if I don't laugh at my own joke, then then no one would laugh at my jokes ever.
Lucky Days lip balm.
They
Lip
should a
balm?
giveaway. Oh, how great! A giveaway at the game. Lindbaum's lip balm. That'd be great. Who wouldn't? I would go to a game to get one of those. That's on the par with Dallas Strake's fishing lure.
What about lip balm that you hang from your rear view mirror? So it's car lip balm.
Nice.
Nice.
like a car scent. It makes your car smell like lip balm.
That too. Why not?
It's
Carl Lindbaum's car lip balm.
Yeah, you rub it on your bumper of your car. That's what you do. It's like wax. Oh, wax. Yeah, Carl.
All right,
lip balm.
I'm clipping
car
this off.
lip balm.
I'm clipping
You wax your car. It's car wax. It's car wax.
Yep.
Your car gets nicked in a parking lot. Just put some Carl lip balm on there.
Carl Lindbaum's car lip balm. We need to make a fake commercial. Oh, that'd be funny.
New sponsor of the show.
Yeah, wax on, wax off. That's because that may be one of the funnier things we've said on the show ever, and it comes in episode number 400.
Yes. I think we. Kurt, you gave the idea.
We're hitting our stride, boys.
Let's just make a fake commercial and put it at the end of each episode.
Oh, a new. We would eventually run out of ideas, but yes, I like that idea. I like we should, as long as we have an idea, we should do it.
Yep, let's do
We
it.
do have a special exit to play us out.
Play us
after
out?
the show tonight. To play us out.
Play us out. I don't know what that means. To play us out.
To end the show. You know what to play us out means, you jackass. Not you, O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Not
I know.
Ryan.
Not
Bill.
Not Ryan O'Reilly.
It'd be
And
very
not
specific.
O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
So confusing. What about you said Bill? Bill O'Reilly. Right?
Bill? Bill, you
this
should
is
know better.
this has been a quality tangent on Let's Go Blues Radio.
Yes, that's what you want to call it.
I guess. The end of the show tangent. Anything else, guys, before we shut her down, Earl?
No, I mean, I guess to the two of you, sorry I did not prepare a 400 video like I did with 300.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't getting that every time.
You've got
So-
all week until 401
No.
episode.
No. You know what?
Okay.
We got a producer for that now.
Yeah.
He's shaking his head. He's saying no.
he,
Blame it on
but
Austin.
but he's part of his job description in the exit is video tributes. So I think it falls under that umbrella to some degree. I don't know. We'll see.
100%.
All right, boys.
Austin says, "Can I pop on?" Yes, sir. You can. What's up?
Shirley, what's up?
I am not going through 400 episodes and making a 400 episodes.
All we have to do is go.
You don't have to go
from
through
301
400.
to
I'd say
400.
Yeah,
301
you don't
to
have to do 400. I'd say do like maybe 160 of our best. Go through those.
or just from 300 on.
great. Yeah, there's just a. Yeah, I got the time for that. We all got time for that.
Yeah, you do. What are you doing? What else are you doing?
It's no
School.
rush. It's a nice jersey you got on.
Thank you.
Let's Go Blues Radio jersey. What
If
number?
only we
21?
could see it.
Are you Jeff
91.
Brown?
91.
91. 91. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder where I
Kinda
got
see
that
it
idea
there.
from.
Yeah, we. I do concur with the comment earlier in the show that 91's reserved for good players, which is why Austin's wearing it.
I'd say Austin
what-
scored he
Exactly
scored a
why.
couple Ponder Cup goals.
I have scored a couple Ponder Cup goals.
You know the one of the nicer goals I ever scored in my hockey career was in the Ponder Cup.
The shootout.
Oh yeah, that one too. No, that was
That was
pretty
a
cool.
good one.
No, it was a deflect. It was a tip. I was in a high slot and a slap
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just see how it feels.
It was just see how it feels. But slap shot from the point. I was at the high slot, and I redirected it down, and it bounced off the rink and came up, and went upper something, upper glove or upper blocker. I can't remember, but it was like bang bang. It was like a ping pong kind of a thing. It's pretty cool. I heard somebody go, "Wow!" One of my
favorite Ponder Cup moments was when you and I were getting ready to face each other for a game, and I was like trailing behind you in the warm-ups, like purposely trying to mess with you, and I was even like acting like I was going to hack you, but for some reason you were like dead focused on, I guess it was your stick handling or what, and I hit you into the boards.
You did
pretty hard.
Yeah, you did,
and you had no idea I was there.
No,
and was it the recent one?
I gave you a two-hander, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you turned around and gave me a two-hander, which I totally deserved, because the minute I realized you didn't know I was there, I was like, oh shit. Like I thought you knew I was there the whole time. So clearly you were not ready for somebody to hit you.
I think I punched you in the face in the handshake too, didn't I?
You did. You did. That might have been a little bit too much.
Yeah, I apologize for that. When I got you, I'm like, oh, I got him pretty good there.
Yeah, I think you were kind of meaning to like get me a little bit, but I kept skating forward, so you got me pretty good.
You know how jabs go. Sometimes you just, underestimate your reach. So
right. But no, I felt terrible.
Right. Yeah,
I felt terrible at first, but then when you two-handed me right after in the back of the leg, I was like, all right, he got me back. This was good.
I'm like, oh, this sounds gonna be all right. Okay, you guys beat us that game too. You guys beat us by one or two.
One or two
goal
goals.
Or something like that. Yeah.
You were on Team Paul, I believe, right?
Was that Team Paul again? Yeah, I think so. The first time I was on Team Paul, we won. Second time didn't go very well.
Is it Team Paul or Team ID Life?
Team Rockin' that IDLife.com.
Austin's basically telling us to wrap it up. Shut up, Austin.
No.
Yeah, you wanted to come on here.
No, I know. Because I got, never mind.
Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That is rockinthatidlife.com, and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com. And tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you, and by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Visit strikewithmike.com today for all of your home buying and selling needs. That's strikewithmike.com. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That is that's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. I was going way too fast, and my mouth did not catch up.
In my mind, I thought you were going to say straddlewithmike.com or something along those lines.
Straddlemike.com.
Porn or not porn? Porn, not porn, or available?
Do not.
Straddlemike.com. That's a game we
do not go to straddlemike.com.
That's what we used to play at work. A game we thought a URL. Is it porn, not porn, or available? That'll wrap up episode 24 of season 11 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening. And thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Trade Parayko.
Let's go Blues. Trade Parayko. Trade them all.
Let's go Blues. Team